Hey there. Welcome to another low-key, relaxing, no rush. Instead of doing trading cards, which is basically the only thing I've done any videos of so far, I thought I would take a look at one of the toys that I have that I really like and see what you guys thought about it. So I decided that to start this off with one of my favorites. This is the Starcom Shadow Parasite. Starcom, a lovely toy line by the folks over at Coleco. Maybe not obscure. I don't know. I feel like the average person who's into vintage toys has probably seen these. Maybe even has one. Maybe not specifically the Shadow Parasite here, but I imagine most people who collect vintage toys have, one or two of these cool space toys in their collections. I only recently started picking up these as an active habit. They're famously kind of tough to get complete, especially the bigger sets, and especially the visors for the little fellas. So I thought maybe since this is one of the few Starcom pieces that I own complete and in presentable condition, I thought maybe I would go over all the features and some of the things that I like about it, and just share it with you, delightful people. So first, let's look at the box. As I get to be, I started to say as I get to be older, I guess that's probably what it is, but I think a lot of it has to do with having seen a lot of toys at this point in my life. Um, I'm now a lot more interested in the packaging than the toys in a lot of cases, mostly because you don't see the packaging as often as you do the toys. So we'll get into this a little more closely in just a second, but first I thought just showing you all the different angles of this lovely box might be fun. One of the main gimmicks of Starcom was that they were sort of wind-up toys in an interesting roundabout way. You can see on the bottom here we have our Starcom proof of purchase, and you can see the dates there, 1986, 87. So advertised right here on the front, right below that awesome old Walmart sticker, you can see the two things that were the selling points for Starcom. First, we have our delightful Lieutenant Mag advertising the Magnalock feature. So every single one of these wonderful little Starcom figures has magnets on their feet, and so I have several of them hanging out from the side of my refrigerator. And then the other advertised gimmick is the motorized change, and that's the wind up that I was talking about. We have the gorgeous artwork of this Shadow Parasite enemy attack fighter. Yes, my box that we have does have a huge tear on it, but you can forgive me for that. Okay, so we need to look at the back now. There's a lot going on the back. So first we'll zoom in on the collector's ID for Lieutenant Mag. His specialty is piloting just this device that he comes with. every Star Armada pilot must be able to repair his own craft. The heroic men of Starcom fight for freedom against the evil Shadow Force. The evil strives to dominate the free galaxy and ultimately conquer Earth. Shadow Parasite, an ultra-high-speed attack fighter of Starmada, the Shadow Force's air and space fleet. Lieutenant Mag's Shadow Parasite leads his squadron in attacks against Starcom, using speed and stinging firepower to advance Shadow Force's drive for domination. And we'll zoom out and shows us all the features of this toy even before we even bought it. We could enjoy the Magnalock lifter. That is actually just a magnet. We have the Magnalock magnetic action figure, spring action cockpit canopy, motorized power deploy thrusters, paralaser cannons, and wingtips. And then this is the feature here that originally sold me on this item. As a kid, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world that this ship could plug onto a bigger ship. Parasite mode. Closes to Parasite mode for transport to battle zones by Shadowbat Battle Cruiser. Locks onto wings of Shadowbat. If that sounds interesting to you, let me know, because I do have a Shadowbat, and I can display the Parasite mode. Just let me know if you'd like to see that. Alright, well, enough of the packaging here. Let's take a quick look at the instruction booklet for the Parasite. It's interesting that they have the huge American flag there prominently displayed, even on the bad guy's ship. So we open up and it shows how to put on the stickers. Thankfully, whoever owned this before me took care of that for me. Now we advertise some of the features of this wonderful toy. And then it shows us how to operate everything. How lovely. On the back, we see how to put the figure in. Don't know that anyone would ever have any problems with that. And then, most importantly, how to plug it into the bat. Okay. One more thing before we get to the toy itself. We have a delightful Starcom catalog. Shows all the other items in the Starcom toy line that were available when this item was sold. Starmax Bomber. I do have one of these, but it's not very white anymore. We have the Laser Rat. Don't have one of those. The F-1400 Star Wolf. Let's see. The M6 Railgunner Ground Attack Vehicle. The Battle Crane. The Harv 7. And whoa, check out that playset. The Starbase Station. Now let's check and see if the other side has some of the enemy, the Shadow Force vehicles. There's the Shadow Bat that we were talking about before. Shadow Parasites sold separately. We have the Shadow Raider. There's that guy. That's that guy. We know that guy. There's the Shadow Invader. That one actually looks like more of a good guy ship, I would say. And then, of course, they also sold just the figures in this line. So lots of great stuff there. Lots of stuff I don't have. Okay, well, you waited. First, let's take a look at Lieutenant Mag. So, if you take a peek under his visor, look at his amazing mustache. And we'll flip it back down. This guy's in great condition for his age. Something that I can't really speak to for me. You can see nice head rotation there. And of course, the real problem with these is how simple it is to disconnect that visor and lose it. That's why most Starcom figures you see don't have their visors. There's the all-important magnets, and I'll demonstrate real quick how this works. So I have a pair of scissors, and we can... Well, that was satisfying. And they're pretty strong magnets. I mean, if I wiggle it too much, he's gonna fall off. But all right, let's put him down for now, and let's take a look at his ship. So here we have a pretty nice example of this Shadow Parasite. If I had to complain about anything, it would be some of these decals starting to peel off. But that's okay. That's gonna happen. That glue can only hold on for so long. Alright, well. So we've heard a lot at this point about the motorized action that doesn't require batteries. So first, let's check this one out and push this little button, and the lovely cockpit will pop open. Let's try that again. Yeah. Okay, now what's this other button do? Well, unfortunately, it's supposed to do a little more than it does, but I'm just going to push it and let us enjoy it. So, if you notice, this is very much a wind-up toy, as I mentioned before, and to wind it up, we just push this in. And then... Now, my Shadow Parasite does not quite do what it's supposed to do. When I push this button, these gun compartments are supposed to pop open, but they don't. So we have to help them a little bit. All right. So we have our Shadow Parasite. Before it goes into battle, we have to do one more thing. We have to take these little guns and pull them out. All right. Very, very sweet. You can see there on the bottom, that's the magnetic holding device that they talked about in the instructions. Well, before we wrap this up, I should probably put Lieutenant Mag in his cockpit. Come on, LT. He's ready to go. Well, thank you for sticking it out to the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything that I missed talking about, or if you just want to tell me how cool Starcom is, why not leave me a comment and tell me what toy lines you like, and maybe if I have any of those, I can make a video about that too. But until next time, I hope you have a great day. And let's all just be cool.